There you go.
Good evening, Troy.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Glad to
Jerry.
see you.
Good evening, Nicole.
Keep it good over there? Okay. Woodman Hills Metropolitan District regular board meeting for Thursday, January 24th, 2019 is now in session at 17:41. Next item, roll call. Troy Stinson, Chairman and President.
Nicole Vance, Secretary.
Carly, the treasurer, present.
Sherry Ringen, co-chair, present.
Okay, and Mr. Ritter had sent me a text message earlier saying he'd be unable to attend the meeting tonight. Do we need an executive session for anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay, well now, my motion, we enter executive session for development strategy for negotiations under CRS 246424E and personnel matters under CRS 246401F1.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's now in executive session. The agenda rather rapidly, and so we can get out of here. We don't have to marathon meetings anymore. But thank you. I hope everybody had great holidays, and hope everybody's got a resolution to have a great 2019. So if we can have someone lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I will. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Payson. Okay, first, item 6, approval of agenda.
I motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Any discussion? You all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, approval or disapproval of board minutes.
I need a motion to approve the board minutes.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion? You all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 8, attorney's report.
I've been working on the Falcon Fields matter and personnel matter, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Next item would be financial reports. These are the financial reports for November.
And December.
December. I'll motion that we accept the financial reports as written.
Second.
Any discussion? Did you see anything, Treasurer? I thought it looked really good. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, Parks and Rec report.
Great, yes, thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone had a great Christmas, blessed Christmas. So I wanted to do the facility update. So per our direction from November's meeting, we formed an expansion advisory committee comprising of 6 residents and 1 board member, Sherry Rigdon, and Nicole, you're going to step in when she's unavailable, so thank you for that. We had our first meeting on January 8th. Our second meeting was scheduled for this past Tuesday, however, we were a little all snowed in, so we were not able to have the meeting. At the January 8th meeting, with Sherry's direction, we will be obtaining costing on a steel, self-standing building. We're gonna get costing on a 10,000 square foot and a 15,000 square foot. which potentially will be able to accommodate a cardio weight room. Can we do a cardio weight room, fitness room, and a gymnasium? That's why we're doing the 10 and the 15. With, of course, bathrooms would have to be included, with a walkway from that freestanding building that would connect to the RCE. So I have met with our project manager. He's getting me costing. He will need 4 to 6 weeks. I'm hoping that he will be able to actually attend the next board meeting. If he cannot, but we will certainly be able to report on his costing. So he's doing a full costing. How much for the steel building, how much to erect it, the permits, the excavating, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the update on that. So really a lot of work still to be done to get that final costing, but we're hoping to be able to report to y'all by the next board meeting. The facility update, so on Tuesday with the blizzard, we were to have our new cardio equipment installed. However, we had to postpone it. They couldn't get down from Denver, so we'll be putting that in on Friday. And that'll be 3 new treadmills, which will include 1 rehab tread, 3 accent trainers, which are ellipticals, 1 upright bike, and 1 hybrid bike. So we're pretty excited about that, and that will go in tomorrow. It is an equipment lease, and it actually came in lower than I originally projected in the budget by $3,000 over the course of the year.
Are those going to RCE?
Yeah.
Anything coming here?
RCE, equipment downstairs was purchased about 2.5 years ago, so we're not quite ready yet to replace that equipment. The equipment at RCE is, we Band-Aid it together. Our treadmills, for example, have 80,000 miles on it. I believe that they're the original ones from 2003, so it's time to upgrade that. Our CTF funds, we're getting final costing for new sinks in the locker rooms, counters, partitions, child watch cabinets and counter. And then again, the CTF funds are used from the Colorado lottery. We have close to, I believe, $80,000, isn't it, Rachel?
Yeah.
Yeah, about $80,000. So we're hoping to use that, or we are going to use that. And then for your review, we the user's permit was about 3 pages long. So by decreasing the font, we were able to condense the user's permit from 3 pages front and back to 2 pages front and back. So it becomes a little bit more user-friendly. We also moved a few items from the behavior policy and the pool rules into the usage permit, allowing residents knowledge at the first engagement with our front desk team members. And those are the bullet points that you see. The members must be living in the household, and that's in our bylaws as well. This was included due to residents listing relatives that live in the Springs or live in Fountain, all of this kind of thing. People that do not reside in the household. The pool, we included persons using the slide, children using the slide have to have a height requirement, so we wanted that right up when they come to do their usage permit. We included the refund policy. It was a little out of date, so we updated it to reflect our current practice. And then our guest policy we included as well, which is 3 guests per household per day. Any guests after that, they pay $2. And then the user signature, we included adult, in parentheses, homeowner tenant was added, because it was just adult, so it could have been an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, but it really has to be the homeowner tenant that is actually filling out that usage permit, because they are taking the responsibility of the members in their household from using the facility. So we're going to be having that available to residents starting tomorrow. Okay. Our programming update, we had January swim lessons, we had 50 registrations. We had a lifeguarding class, we had 12 participants, and this is our feeder as we progress on into the warmer months. Spring soccer, we had early bird registration. It began on the 1st of January, goes to February 1st, and registration for soccer in general ends March 19th, and practice begins April 1st, and we had 25 early bird registrations. We are a very slow community here to register. We'll have people come in the day before it ends, that kind of thing. Fitness classes, we've added 2, Vanessa Yoga and what we call WOW, which is Women on Weights, and that actually will be held here at CCW. Our Flex Silver Sneakers will begin in February. We had a little bit issue with getting our accounting payment straightened out, and so that will begin in February. And the classes will be held here at CCW, using the cardio room there and this room as a meeting room, so it'll be a nice added usage of CCW. We are planning what we're calling a Healthy Living Day, which will be held in March, and this will be a day of 15 minutes of high-intensity, low-intensity classes, local healthy living vendors, and an opportunity to learn more about our fitness programs and meet our fitness team. The reason being to try and enhance our fitness programs, kind of increase our usage. So we're working on that right now. We're trying to secure with our fitness instructors the date that they're available. Our community program, we had Cookies with Santa on December 8th. We had 328 kids participate. Much better than last year. We had them sign up for time, so we weren't all kind of jam-packed in here. It worked much better, had a lot more compliments from the residents that came. So what's happening in February, we have our all-team quarterly meeting. We do this on a quarterly basis so that we can bring the whole team together. We do an aquatic team service. I don't think I ever highlighted this to you all before. We do 2 a month that we're required to by Red Cross. So we do that on the first Friday of every month, or I'm sorry, first Sunday of every month, and then another Saturday. They have to do 4 hours total a month. Hence, they're trained quite extensively. Bingo, we have family bingo on the 1st and 15th, and we started our adult bingo, which we had our first one a couple of weeks ago with great success. Thank you, Fran, and a couple of your volunteers for helping us with that. And then our regular programs that we normally hold. We have our President's Day facility hours will be open all day. We were open all day on Monday on MLK as well. Years and numbers, if you look in your binder, I inserted a years and numbers, and I do have some pages if the members in the audience want to take one with them. So what I've done is shown you the 2017-2018 program participants. And I wanted to show you the trend and our increase in what we have done. So you can see that our total program participants in 2017-18 was 5,577, and in 2018 we had 6,745. And the increase in that, we had 40% growth in 3 of our programs, and I've put an asterisk by them, which was mini camps, parents' night out, and child watch. So those were the increase. And then we had our special events increase and our community programs increase as well. Youth sports was down in 2018. It happens when you lose coaches or kids age out. In 2017, we had our highest youth sports enrollment in 3 years. So we were a little down in 2018. So it's just kind of a natural attrition. We're hoping to bring that back up in 2019. If you flip it on the back page, and y'all, I have I don't know if we can give it to them. RCA and CCW usage numbers. So in 2017, we had 56,509 people use RCE and CCW combined, and this is all of our programs and all of our daily usage. And in 2018, we went up to 63,184. So the average usage, I'm sorry, I don't have the average. The average usage for CCW was, I want to say it was something like 84 per day, and RCE was, I think it was something like 92 on an average, based on how many days we were open. We take out days we were closed, all of that kind of thing. So that's all I have.
Lifeguard thing, state requirements versus insurance requirements. All right, thank you, Corey.
Yep.
Water and wastewater report.
I just want to point out that, start a new year, the totals for remains cleaned and videoed goes back to 0, we start over. We shoot for cleaning and TVing 1/3 of our system every year. The big news is our new wastewater plant is online. They tied it in on Monday, and You know, we're already seeing results. You know, and when I say we're already seeing results, it's because wastewater plant is a biological. I mean, we have to grow our bugs that clean the water. So it takes a little while, especially in cold weather. So it was pretty encouraging. Yeah, that's a big milestone. So we're all pretty happy with that. Other than that, just wanted to make sure that you guys were all aware of the work that the office staff has done to bring electronic payments online.
Yeah, so we have a credit card reader in office now, so anyone who wants to pay in office can pay in the office with a credit card, as well as we're working, there's still some kinks we're working out, but payment over the phone, so through a system. And so we're working on those kinks, but hopefully we'll get it fully operational here shortly. And so just trying to make it easier on the customers. Unfortunately, we still have the convenience fee of the 2.85%. It's a third-party fee. We can't do anything about that, but we're working on it.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. Do you have any questions on the wastewater report?
No, I looked at it, and I know you guys saved some money for the district by doing some trenching out there, using our staff.
We've been, we've been assisting out there anywhere we can, and, yeah, we trenched in the gas line. The guys, did a great job. Danny, of course, is instrumental in a lot of that. He's done a lot of that work in the past, so he was pretty familiar, so. Any place we can lend a hand and save a buck, we do it, so. Okay?
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jared. All right, the 2019 annual administrative resolution.
I just want my name is wrong.
Your name's wrong.
It says Nicole Singleton.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what happened there.
Where did
They're
that
just
go?
making up new names.
Oh, that's a customer. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. That is, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me?
So I guess we'll be coming back to this. at the
Yeah,
next meeting?
yeah,
See what I did?
let's definitely do that. I am so sorry.
Trying to hide that part.
And also, we're.
Too many names in my head,
I
apparently.
seen here that it was blank for, as far as a DEO. Have they already passed that to another person from Connie Goodwin, or where are we at in that process?
So Connie Goodwin retired, and I did contact her, asking her about this. She said that we do not need a designated election official since we don't have an election this year. But now I just have to find out if I can just point my finger and pick somebody, or if they have to volunteer, or what. Yeah.
It's a serious position.
It is, very serious. And Connie is
You
amazing.
do need someone, but
Every time I talk to Connie, I'm just blown away. She was an incredible woman. But yeah, it's a serious position, and but I don't know exactly how we go about
recruiting,
creating another designated election official.
might ask the county.
Let's get with the county, let's find out how we appoint the next,
Right.
yes,
I was gonna let you finish your statement.
how we can appoint the next designated election official, and let's get one appointed and on the books. We're still gonna need one, even though we don't have an election. I mean,
Right.
something happens to a board member where we have to have a special election, something throughout the year.
We'd have to have one for a special election. Yeah.
So let's make sure that we have one appointed and that we're ready to go with that, just in case.
And it requires some pretty sophisticated knowledge of election law.
Mhm.
Yes.
You can appoint the county. In the recall in 2009, Judge Miller appointed the DEO as the county, and you can do that as long as you just ask them to do it. And it's a lot less expensive than the amounts I heard we were paying Mrs. Connie to do her job, which I objected to, but it's not my business, right? But, so, yeah, you can do that. And I know that because Judge Miller did actually appoint the county to handle that. And they do it on a case-by-case basis. There's no charge in between then, and they're experts. So, I mean, if you want the experts, they're the experts. So, I mean,
Fair comment, thank you.
yeah, well,
Thank you.
yeah.
So let's look at that, make sure that we have DO appointed somebody,
Yeah, I
something
just
in
couldn't
place.
accomplish that before this meeting.
Yeah, I get it. And then we'll,
We can push this,
okay.
approve the resolution next meeting. I'm so sorry.
You can approve it right now with the direction to correct that spelling
Yeah.
mistake. You don't need to come back with it again.
If that works for you guys.
That's just administrative follow-up, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll motion that we approve resolution
Second.
2019-0124, annual administration, pending the subjective admin change of Ms. Singleton's.
Unless we have a redheaded objection that says you're better not do this.
Any other discussion on it?
I need to change my name.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, any objection? Motion carries. Okay, public comment.
Would you excuse him like at the beginning, because I didn't hear, I know you should excuse him, but did somebody excuse him?
We did not excuse him. I don't know why he's absent. I just got a message saying he wouldn't be here tonight. Just somebody want a motion to excuse him?
Yeah, just so he's covered.
I motion to excuse Russ Moran.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. She's just so confident
At least you didn't use an expletive. Could have been much worse.
Okay, where's the poem?
I don't either.
Does anybody know whose name that is?
Mine,
Sorry.
I'll just smack you with it.
Be my luck. Knock some sense in there.
Okay, Mr. Pace.
all right, Happy New Year, Mr. Pace, 12058 Real Seagull Road. I'll try to keep it pretty brief. I've asked questions, so I'm gonna ask some more questions from last year. I didn't get a chance. So since I'm full of documents, this is the one I printed up and I asked for, where I was told it was gonna cost me $300 to get pages 9 through 14, or 24. This is a document that the district sent out to 5 different entities, 2 of them being the attorney, and the other one, that was found in one of the documents that I had. I don't mind paying for something, but I'm not gonna pay to have someone produce, put together, or find a report that I know that JDS Hydro has, because that came from a JDS Hydro report that was filed with the state. So I'm hoping that the $300 you were gonna charge me was just a mistake, and you're gonna charge me like 3. Because I know JDS keeps them, and the state says they're required to as long as that stuff's in effect. Apparently, some of that's still in effect. So if it is, I'd just like to get the complete copy, because I only have part of it. And the reason why is because I'm doing something else that has nothing to do with anybody in the room, but that document is between who it's between. So if it is in full force and effect, or even if it was at one point, it's only partially there and pretty much gutted from Article 1 all the way up to, what is that, Mr. Stinson, it says in there at the top of my notes? 1 through what?
1 through 10.
1 through 10's missing. So 1 through 10
No, it
articles.
says 9 through 24.
That's page 9 through 24 is not there, but article-wise, all right. So then I asked, I'd like to get a copy of that without having to pay for it. Okay, and I'm working on getting you $100 for your 4 years of redactable stuff unredacted. So I think the cost was $106, if I'm not mistaken. You'll get that as soon as I get paid this week, and I expect the unredacted payables to be turned over to me, since it was a money issue. Who will get you your money? So, sorry I didn't have it earlier, but workman's comp didn't cover my injury, so I didn't have any money I could give anybody. Second one, I asked a question of our lawyer. These are Stockman and Cass, Woodman Hills Metropolitan District Management and Financial Statements. There's only one. The reason I brought that up is because early last year, or late last year, I brought up a very important issue of whether or not Falcon Vista was part of Woodman Hills. In there, in my highlight, as you can see, it says out of district, because they are not part of the district. They don't get to vote in our stuff. We are charging them full price for what they do. I play poker with 3 of the people that live there. One of them has a father who's an attorney who has asked me a bunch of questions. So I turned over all this information to them, and now they're contemplating action because, as I very politely asked, I think we should stop charging them until we rectify the situation rather than continuing to charge them. Because if they are not part of the district and they can't vote in our elections, They're not Woodman Hills. Now, the only agreements I found were posted on my website were for water and wastewater only, nothing else. And just so we're clear on that, I had the Board of County Commissioners ask and direct the Planning Commission to help me look through the documents, and they did. And to their chagrin, they couldn't find it either. So the only thing they have is what we can charge them in water and wastewater. I don't think we should be charging them for something, in my opinion, that doesn't require them to do it if they're not part of us. If they were voting in our elections, argument's over, but they don't have that right. The reason, what happened was, they ran into a financial snag, they had to file bankruptcy, as you remember, the developer was a complete yo-yo, whatever you wanna call him, and they just couldn't join because the county commissioners wouldn't allow it. So since that never took place, the only agreement we have is for water and wastewater. That's fair, right? But we don't have it for streetlights, we don't have it for park and rec, we don't have it for, the other one is the water resource fee.
Water resource.
So what I'm saying is, stop charging them until Mr. Bendel or somebody can show me a document, or them, show them, because we're talking 100 people. So I'm fighting for that. So if you think I'm wrong, then call me out, say whatever you want. But if there isn't anything, and I've done my due diligence, big time due diligence, because those documents are from before they filed bankruptcy, they're just not part of the district. And the only people that are subject under resolution 1, 2, and 3 is posted are the people that are part of Woodman Hills. As you can see in those, you can see them in there. So all I ask you is do me a favor. If we're not supposed to be charging them, hey, let's stop charging them.
So are they paying what we as a
Hang on,
district
let
pay?
him finish.
And that's it, I'm
and then I'll see if
done, I'm
you're
done, I'm done.
All right.
Now, can I, yeah,
Yeah, you can. Okay. Appreciate it.
all right, let me, this one.
Jared, you want me to speak to it now, or do you want to speak to it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I will answer the Falcon Vista question right now, okay? There were bankruptcies and a lot of problems with their developer over there at Falcon Vista that intermixed between the resolutions and the IGAs, and the inclusion never got completed. It was a handshake deal between general managers and at the time. So here's the deal. They are by their, it's the IGAs, right? They are obligated to pay out of district fees. Right now, they pay in-district fees to include the Parks and Rec, water resource fee, and streetlights. The impact is, if we go back to out-of-district fees, their fees are higher than what they pay now between the fees that we collect from them right now as in-district fees with Parks and Rec. Now, there are the occasional resident that, in that development, that would pay less. The majority of those residents would pay more with out-of-district fees for water and wastewater as opposed to being included in the district. There are several Falcon Vista people that do use the Parks and Rec and the rec centers. So in an effort to protect those folks with what they're paying now instead of increasing their rates, we've kept them paying the included, or the district has kept them paying, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is through our research, through this Falcon Vista process, based on what you asked me to research, I think 2 meetings ago.
Where's the IGA?
So, is it the IGA or which, the two
IGA.
documents, we have 2 documents.
Right.
Okay, and I asked for all the documents related to Falcon Vista, and I didn't get them, so do you have them?
I would, I
No,
would say
the 2
that-
documents are on the
On
website.
the website, yeah.
You have everything that exists. Like I
Yes,
said, it was a
everything that-
handshake deal. It was a handshake deal, and everything that can be had is on the
Okay,
website.
so you said an IGA, so is there
Am I
an
correct?
IGA with
What are
Falcon
the
Vista?
two forms on the
It was an
website?
inclusion agreement, not an IGA, right?
It's not
You know, I
inclusion.
don't know the
Or whatever it
exact
was.
terminology.
The reason I ask is because this document was filed in 2013 by the district, and it lists all of the IGA agreements by Collins, Cochran, and Cole, so it's not on here. Yeah, thank you, here you go. Okay, so I'd like to see either the IGA or the inclusion, because I have the ROI, which is the record of actions take, or the ROA.
The only documents we have on Falcon Vista are posted on the webpage.
Okay, where are they?
Under the agreements tab,
What, Dan, I'm trying to find it.
The tab is called IGAs, under
it's the
government.
IGA, 2 IGAs, right? One for water, one for wastewater.
Give me just 1 second.
Yeah, it wasn't there today when I went.
No, they've been there the whole time.
Yeah, I went to the, okay, that's fine, we're not gonna argue over it, I wanna see them. And so I'm clear, it's a water and wastewater
Water and
IGA?
wastewater, IGA.
Okay.
Are they represented by anybody, or are they?
No.
just
They have no, nobody's come in here to talk to us about it.
So they're gonna get a real surprise if all of a sudden they're paying
Yes,
way
out of
more
district
than what
fees.
they had to pay because somebody wanted.
Well, and here's the backside to that is now those properties have all been turned over to individual owners. So we would have to go out door to door, somebody would have to pay the expense of people to go out door to door to collect signatures for an inclusion agreement, to include them in district fees. Or we would have to resort back to out of district fees, and the majority of the homeowners over there would pay higher fees.
And the majority probably have
And
no
then they would have no
idea that there's
access to
anything
part,
going
to
on
the,
at all.
what's that?
The majority of them probably have no idea that there's anything going on with any of this at all.
We've received no
questions
complaints or
being
no
asked.
questions from any Falcon Vista persons.
Yeah, you did.
Not that I've seen.
You haven't seen it, but I know, because I was standing there when she did it.
Okay, so I stand by my statement that
And
we
you haven't
have
seen
received-
it, but I was there when she texted it over and sent the message, she asked a question.
Okay.
So did another person that was standing at the bar when they asked the same question. So it was two, but that's fine.
At the bar, but not to the
I just
district.
wanna see where
Thank
you have an IGA with that. We can argue all day long.
No, I'm not gonna argue.
We don't have to, you're right. This one's is fun, I'm enjoying this one. Laugh all you want, guys, it won't be funny.
Yeah, it won't be funny when you got 100 homeowners pissed off. They're gonna be-
No, I don't think they're gonna get pissed off. We'll see.
I think we should send an email after the meeting
For what?
to follow up on this matter.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, I still wanted, you said they were on the website.
They are on the website,
Okay,
and you can look them up on the website.
well, I'll do that when I get back to the house, but you go ahead, I'm all set now. But I just wanna make sure you were correct, it's water and wastewater.
Yes.
Good.
Any other business that we need to discuss then? Actually, we do have one item. We have the amendment to the inclusion agreement for Bentgrass development. So the attorneys in the district in Bentgrass have held meetings and discussed several discussions and come up with an amendment to their inclusion agreement to the district. Whereas, just to provide you, the agreement will be posted once it's signed and done on the webpage. But just to go over some of the highlights, once this agreement, if it's approved, is enacted, Bentgrass will have 30 days to pay an upfront sum of $1.3 million to the Woodman Hills Metropolitan District. This is for inclusion of the current 200 SFEs in Bentgrass, with future development projected to be up to 500 SFEs for an additional $2.6 million, plus the tap fees. Does that summarize it adequately, Jerry?
So?
Does that summarize it adequately, Ted? Okay. We've had several discussions on this agreement. This agreement has went back and forth, and this inclusion agreement with Bentgrass and the dispute over the wells and water have been ongoing since 2004. We finally, I believe, reached a resolution here, an agreement with them for the inclusion and monetary values associated with that inclusion. Does anybody else have anything to add on that?
No, the chairman would entertain a motion to approve.
I would motion that we approve this inclusion agreement amendment to this agreement with Bentgrass and finish off this deal with them.
A second.
Well,
subject to the administrative changes.
Okay, yeah, so that motion would be subject to a few administrative subject changes.
Which the staff is authorized to handle.
Which the staff is authorized to handle. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on it? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Inclusion amendment to the inclusion agreement is approved. Will take a while to get it on the website, because I think there's a required, 25 or so, 30 signatures on the thing.
Hundreds.
Yeah. Any other business? Nothing? Okay. I motion that we adjourn. All in favor? Aye. This meeting is adjourned.
Now, we broke